Hey, what's up? Welcome to one more lesson. As you know, we're learning to make our theme ready for Gutenberg. We already know what Gutenberg is. You've been introduced to this new amazing tool. We enabled some cool features. We fixed some bugs, etc. In today's lesson, we'll continue to add support to some other advanced features. This time we'll learn how to add our own custom colors to the Gutenberg color palette. And what's this for? Well, by now you've seen that your users can do almost everything they want when they are editing posts and pages. But let's suppose you want the end user to be able to create an element that uses only the colors you have already defined in your theme color palette. Well, you have the biggest job of all, choosing the colors, testing them, combining them, and you don't want the user to turn his or her website into a rainbow. Oh my goodness, surely you don't want that. So with Gutenberg, you can determine that the user will only be able to choose the colors that you want throughout the site. This will be true for every element that can let you choose different background and text colors. For example, blocks such as the paragraph or the button block. By default, Gutenberg already comes with a default color palette set. So if you create a paragraph block, here on the block inspector, under color settings, you already have these colors defined. Also, the user can choose other colors here. But let's put an end to this mess and define our own colors. First, let's add some more support in functions.php. The name of this new feature is editor-color-palette. For it to work, we first open an array here, and inside it will have another array. And now we're gonna pass some arguments. The first one is name. Let's call the getTextTranslation function. I'll name this color blued red. It's just a name, okay? The hex color won't be exactly blued red, but it will do for the moment. The next argument is the color slug. This is very important because it will help us define the color via CSS. Let's set its value as blued-red. And the last one is color. Here we pass the hex color code. In our case, it is the red color we use in our theme. Not exactly the blued red color, as I said, but it doesn't matter. To set a second color, just copy this array here and change the values. Let's create an option for the white color, for example. This will only help us show two little color circles in the block inspector. If we save and reload Gutenberg, now we click to select the paragraph again, color settings, and look, here are our colors. I can use this white color to set the font color, and the red color will be the background of our paragraph. I can do the same thing for a button. For example, let's add a block with a button. But the problem is that if you look at the front end, nothing will appear with the color that we choose. As I told you earlier, we need some customization before using most of the features we enable via Add Theme Support. The reason is quite simple. If we look at the HTML code for the block here in Gutenberg, we'll see that WordPress creates a special class that starts with has hyphen. Then we have the string for the slug argument and a context of use. In this case, that red color that was used for the background color, and that white color set for the font color. In order for them to be available in the front end, we have to add the corresponding CSS to the theme's CSS file. But it will be like a piece of cake. Let's open the CSS file again. First, let's set the red color to the background and the font. The name of the selector will always start with a has hyphen. Afterwards, we need the color slug, blued hyphen red, and then the context. For the background, we use background hyphen color. Now just pass the color hex code to the background color property. Now for the font color, let's pass has hyphen blued hyphen red and color as the context of use, and pass the hex code here to the color property. And that's it. Now just do the same thing for the white color. Alright, just save our changes. And now let's go back to the front end. Let's reload the page using Ctrl-Shift-R to clear the browser cache. We don't want to load our CSS file from the cache. And there you have it. The button and the paragraph, everything with the color we defined. And one last tip. Let's assume you don't want the user to choose different colors at all on the site. You can even disable the color picker. For this, you need to add some more support. This one is called Disable Custom Colors. So add theme support, disable hyphen custom hyphen colors. And from now on, the user will only be able to choose the colors that you defined earlier. That's great. One cool thing is that Gutenberg gives you some tips when the color combination is inconsistent. This can prevent the user from choosing color combinations with very low contrast, for example. But the final word is yours as the theme developer. You're gonna define the extent to which your theme will restrict or extend Gutenberg's functionalities. It's in your hands. And the same concept also applies for font sizes. Here in the paragraph block, under text settings, you can set different values for these buttons. For example, change the S, M, L, and XL labels, and also the font sizes associated with each of them. The process is very similar to the one I explained in this lesson. I'll leave you a link to the WordPress documentation explaining which codes you have to use to customize text. As the process is very similar to the one we've just seen, I won't go over it, okay? You can take that as an exercise if you want to implement it, but I'm gonna stick with what we got. Well, I hope you like it. If you like this video, please subscribe, tell everyone about these cool video tutorials, and I always try to bring new subjects here for you about WordPress themes. So stay tuned, and I'll wait for you then in the next lesson. Happy coding!